And we are on Jazz with Eivor. Welcome back to Rochester.
Thank you so much.
We missed you. It's been a long time.
Yes, it's great to be back.
So your most recent album, talk about it because it's so interesting. There's so many different unique sounds, rhythms, melodies. How did you come up with the concept of doing it?
Oh, well, it's kind of a mixture of many different elements, I guess, and experiences and ideas. And it's very inspired by the place I come from, you know, the metaphors. And I recorded the album originally in Faroese and just got it translated to English. So I just released it again just a few months ago in English as well. And the sound of it is kind of a mixture of very, acoustic sounds mixed with electronica. And so two sound worlds meet, kind of, I think, on the album. Yeah.
So in terms of putting it together and the musicians with that and telling here, I need to have you sound like this, sound like that, how are you able to communicate that with the studio musicians?
Well, I usually work on my songs and my ideas at home, in my home studio, and then I sketch things down, and then I take it further to the studio with my band, and then we work on the production together, and with the producer also called Trunter, who helped us in that process. So I guess I like to have a clear vision of what I want to do, and then I like to create a free space for the musicians also to bring in their magic.
Speaking to Eivor here on member-supported Jazz90.1 playing tonight. Eivor, so what have you been listening to these days? What have you been checking out? Music around the globe. I can't imagine what your iTunes playlist must sound like and look like.
It's quite schizophrenic, actually. And I listen.
Perfect.
I listen to very various different music from all around the world. And recently, in the tour bus, we've been listening a lot to a French artist called Jane, and we're kind of obsessed with her these days. And other than that, I listen to. Oh my God, it's so difficult to pick out.
The last thing you remember listening to was Jane, or was it something else?
That's the last thing, I guess. And I do listen to a lot of, Lana Del Rey and stuff like that.
Really?
These days, yeah, I love it. And then I always go back to music like Radiohead and Massive Attack, and I even go to Jeff Buckley or Nick Drake.
What was it about that music from the 1990s that resonates with you that still you go back to time and time again?
Interesting question, but I guess it's something to do with my teenage years, probably. The time when I started to really get into music and listen to music, and started playing in my first band, and probably something to do with that, as well as it's just great music.
Speaking to Eivor here on member-supported Jazz90.1. That being said, give us an idea. What was it like to grow up where you grew up in the Faroe Islands?
Well, it's a very small place of 50,000 people. So it's like a very small place in the middle of nowhere, like between Iceland and Scotland. I guess it's quiet. And I don't know, many people tend to be very creative because there's not much else to do.
It's quiet.
Yes. I don't know, it's always, it was a good place to grow up. And I remember that I loved playing just out in nature and just dream away. And when I then grew older, when I became a teenager, I started to get this wanderlust. I wanted to see what was outside those islands.
And here you are in Rochester, New York.
Yeah. Here we are. And I guess when you come from a small place like that, you have that, I think you have that feeling that you want to go away, but every time you go away, you want to go back. So I always have one foot in the Faroe Islands and one foot in Denmark, where I live now.
Speaking to Eivor here on member-supported Jazz90.1. Eivor, thank you so much for joining us today, and best of luck to your amazing career.